Now, again, I'm going to give a very short drosha because I think there are still very important key elements that we must not miss out from this parasha. And let me just mention a few quickly. And it's concerning the parts you heard me read. In this parasha, God commands the Kohanim to remove the ashes every morning from the temple. That's really sweeping. At first glance, this doesn't seem the kind of tasks given to a holy, important person like the priest. Yet it was so important that they actually cast lots to see who would do it. We all need a sense of doing something that makes a real difference. We need to feel we're doing something very important. But often that has nothing to do with how much we're paid. In fact, look at all the people on this shul committee and with us today. We are doing this as volunteers, and yet we're passionate about it. Money would not make a difference. And so, there's that old thing that if you asked a person and you'd offer them 50,000 Rand a month merely to dig a hole, and then to fill the sand, and then to dig the hole, they'd say no. Yes, money is important, we've got to live and eat. But this parasha with the priest sweeping the ashes of great relevance. One more thing I'd like to mention in connection with this. We all need a sense that what we are doing is going to make a difference. But it's very interesting that in the last World War, the greatest productivity in America was in World War II. Everyone was putting a nut in a bolt or sweeping a factory floor if they weren't in the war, or driving a bus. And that made the difference. And just to conclude this point, it's very important that whether it's in your real job, your career that makes money, or whether it's in your shul service or as a congregant or a committee member, remember taking out the garbage. No matter what you do, it makes all the difference. And I've always said, and I mean it, I'm prepared to sweep the floors in Temple Israel myself, if it means that will help us build our community and live by God's laws, as we are attempting to do with the Thursday that we give out to the poor, with being compassionate and helping each other. Passion comes from your goal, not the particular role or the title or just how much you paid. So that is just the one point. The second point I want to make is, isn't it amazing how in this era of this Ukraine war, so many people are doing whatever needs to be done all over the world to help. So this great adversity has brought out the compassion, and we are now more than ever, even in the pandemic, we're now following more God's laws. And just a couple of other points which link us to Purim. So, Parashat Tzav, all the peace offerings are known as Shelamim. There's the thanks offering, which is known as Todah, isn't that lovely? Where you express gratitude and thanks to Hashem, as we're doing today. This thanks offering is very important. And I don't know if you heard, but in that part it says, for thanks offering to God for all we can do to correct the world, for all that you and I do have in our lives. They brought many more loaves of bread, and they were allowed to eat longer. Why? Why should this be? Because the ideal thanks offering, it's like a brocha, is when people come together. Because when the world comes together in protest, as David was talking about protest last night, the world has come together in this epidemic and now war era to help in any way they can. Already we're moving back to the way God meant us to move back to. So it's very important, not only the private sacrificing, the private prayers that we offer for our own sins, but also the prayers for peace and the prayers for thanks offering. Now, so we get to Purim. What is this connection with Purim, which we're now going to read from the Megillah? Esther says to the Jews and to Mordechai, go gather all the Jews and fast for me. So to correct evil, we all have to be together. And this unity should be amongst all streams of Judaism, should be amongst all religions, which you can see there are many interfaith prayers. Beit Luria had one the other night, and we're going to do a similar thing during our Pesach, when Baruch Hashem, we'll be back in the shul. But divisions and conflicts have to stop. And this is the heart of Esther, is that she got all the Jews together. And they all prayed, and they all fasted together. So what that means is be kind to one another. Look for what you have in common, not what's different. Stop judging each other and other people. Start loving, extend yourself, and bring light into a darker world. And with that message, we hand back